So after once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list. And in this course list, you can see wide range of courses. Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 6th July 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see the first topic. So first topic, it is about Odisha tops first national food security ranking, Tripura best among smaller states. So here we need to talk about this National Food Security Act of 2013 and what is this ranking. So this is very important from your prelims point of view. So even you can get a question regarding this National Food Security Act 2013 in your mains also. So if you're talking about context, it mainly says that. So first try to understand the concept and later on you can connect with the basic facts. So the first thing you have to remember is Odisha, which has topped the ranking of the states for implementation of this National Food Security Act. And the second rank, which means occupied by UP, and third it is by Andhra Pradesh. Okay, first is Odisha, second is Uttar Pradesh, and third is Andhra Pradesh. So if you focus on these some important details, so it mainly says that our Union Food and Consumer Affairs Minister, he released this ranking, that is State Ranking Index for National Food Security Act 2022. Actually, this rankings which may be released in one conference, that is State Food Ministers on Food and Nutrition Security of India. So in this conference here, our Union Minister, he released this State Ranking Index. And among this some special category states, especially if you're talking about this northeastern states, they mainly comes in this special category states, because if you're talking about the terrain and geographical area, so they need some assistance from the center. So here according to this report, in this special category states, especially in this northeastern states, here northeastern states, Himalayan states and as well as some island states, so Tripura has obtained the first rank. And the second rank by Himachal Pradesh, third one is by Sikkim. So as per this government ranking, Odisha it is the first position and the score here is 0.836. Second is Uttar Pradesh with a score of 0.797 and AP with 0.794. And fourth place occupied by Gujarat. And next is Dadra Nagar Haveli, and next one is Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Jharkhand. And you have to see where your state which mainly stands. So this is very important because in your interview you can get this type of questions. So where your state stands, so what are the problems and why your state, if it is doing good, so why, what are the steps taken by your state. So this type of questions that you can commonly see in interview. So here Kerala has been ranked in the 11th position and 12th position by our state, that is Telangana, and 13th position is by Maharashtra, and 14th position is by West Bengal, and 15th is by Rajasthan. And the index which mainly denotes only efficiency of TPDS, that is Targeted Public Distribution System. So this is one important thing and this might become your potential prelim statement. That is, so this index which mainly denotes efficiency of this Targeted Public Distribution System operations. And it does not reflect the level of hunger. It is not at all talking about hunger or malnutrition, etc. But it is only focusing on efficiency of this Targeted Public Distribution System. And this index which mainly focuses on National Food Security Act and as well as this Targeted Public Distribution System across the states and as well as union territories. So here this index which is mainly focusing on three pillars. Okay, so what are those three pillars? So first pillar here is whether they are targeting and implementing the provisions of this National Food Security Act or not. So first one is targeting and implementation of this National Food Security Act. And second pillar is they are mainly focusing on delivery platforms. Okay, delivery platforms. So why Andhra Pradesh which mainly ranked 3? Because if you're talking about reforms in this PDS system, so they came up with electronic, so that is monitoring of this vehicles which are mainly carrying this food grains, and even they came up with Aadhaar enabled, and even fingerprint. Okay, so and even in Andhra Pradesh, especially for the people who are mainly comes under or eligible under this targeted PD system, they will be getting message regarding so when they have to go to this shop, fair price shop, and they have to get their ration. So like that, it mainly came with number of innovations, especially in Andhra Pradesh, and that led to decreasing of leakages. And in Telangana state, we can see, so we have Aadhaar enabled. Okay, so here we need to go and we need to give the fingerprint to get this subsidized food grains under this PTS system. So the second pillar analysis, it is about delivery system. So how they are delivering these food grains, and we have to focus on even movement and last mile delivery of this fair price shops as well. And the third important and the last pillar they mainly focused here is nutrition initiatives of the department. So these are three important pillars. So first one is targeting and implementation of scheme. Next one is delivery platform and allocation of food grains. And third one here is nutrition initiatives of the department. And if you're talking about the findings from this exercise, which mainly said that states and union territories, they have fared well with digitalization. So here most of the states, they went for digitization, and especially Aadhaar seeding and even electronic point of sale installation, especially to take the money. So in this way, here we are mainly saying that we are mainly moving toward this digitization, and it is very, very important to achieve our digital India, the aim. Okay, and if we are talking about what is the need, yes, even though we are performing good, especially some states they are performing good, yes, we need to go for social audits. Social auditing system is very important, especially that will be helpful for accountability and as well as transparency in the mechanism. And we need to go for conducting of some raids, etc. And even we need to go for operationalizing functions of state food commissions across the states and as well as union territories. So that will mainly helpful to bolster the true spirit of the act. So we need to focus on conduction and as well as documentation of social audits and regular inspections we can go, and even we can go for operationalizing the state food commissions across the states and union territories. So this is about the details which are given in this article. And now let us try to see some important facts regarding this National Food Security Act. So basics are very important, especially from your prelims and to build the concept. So if you're talking about this National Food Security Act, which may be notified in year 2013. So what are the important objectives? So actually the two important objectives here is we need to focus on food security. So food security is very important, and even nutritional security. So mainly to focus on this food security and nutritional security. So government came up with access to adequate quantities of and quality of food at affordable price for the people, helpful for the people to lead their life with dignity. Okay, so life with dignity, it is also fundamental right. So here especially government has the responsibility to ensure the food security and as well as nutritional security. So for this, government which mainly started ensuring quality and as well as a quantity of the food grains for the people, and that will helpful to lead their life with dignity. And if you're talking about coverage of this scheme, so about 75% of rural population and up to 50% of urban population, they are receiving the subsidized food grains under this targeted PDS system. Okay, so this is about some facts. And if we are talking about who are eligible under this targeted public delivery system, so if we are talking about the guidelines, they will be given by the state government, and households they covered under this existing Antyodaya Anna Yojana, they are also eligible. So if you are eligible under this National Food Security Act, so what are the advantages that you are going to get? That means what are the provisions of this scheme? So first one is you are going to get 5 kgs of food grain per person per month, and the cost of this food grain is very, very low. That is, the rice will be given for rupees 3 per kg, and wheat will be given for rupees 2 per kg, and coarse grains rupees 1 per kg. And already existing this Antyodaya Anna Yojana households, they will continue to receive 35 kgs of food grains per household per month. And under this even meal and maternity benefit of not less than rupees 6,000 to pregnant women and lactating women, during the pregnancy and the 6 months after the childbirth will also be given, because we need to ensure on this nutrition security, especially for the pregnant women and even lactating women. And the meals for children who are below or up to this 14 years of age will also be covered. And the food security allowances to beneficiaries in case of non-supply of entitled food grains. So if there is no supply of this entitled food grains, yes, they are going to get security allowances, and as well as they will be going to get this food security allowances to the beneficiaries. And this act also says that we need to establish this grievance redressal mechanism at district level and as well as at state level. So this is about this National Food Security Act. So if we're talking about food security, how can we ensure this food security? So we need to focus on three important things. First one is availability of food, next one is access to the food, and third one is utilization. So if we're talking about availability of food, so we need to focus on production, processing, water and soil management, trade and stockpiling. So these are some important aspects that we need to think about when we are talking about this availability of food. And if we're talking about access means we need to focus on proper transport. And next one is equitable distribution, marketing, affordability and purchasing power of people. And next one is utilization. So in this utilization, we need to focus on good food health indicators and nutritious food, food safety and quality, and clean water, sanitation. So this is about this topic in detail. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says Andhra Pradesh 50 lakh tons of silt to be removed from Krishna River. So you have to know about river Krishna, where it has been originated and between which state this Krishna River which is mainly flowing, and you have to know the streams of this Krishna River and especially the right bank tributaries and as well as left bank tributaries. And even you need to know some important dams which are mainly built across this river Krishna. So these are some important dimensions that you have to think, and this is your homework for today. So please try to do the homework whenever I am giving. So that will be very useful. So if we are talking about context, it mainly says that in an attempt to increase the storage capacity of this river Krishna. So especially what happened, so for example, let us take this is the river, okay. So this is the capacity of river. So this much capacity the river can be flow. So whenever river which is mainly flowing, so it will have the ability to bring the sediments. And these sediments they will be started depositing at the bottom of this river. So earlier the capacity is this much, now the capacity is this much only. So because of this now, especially in this monsoon season, so we will be expecting good amount of rainfall. And recently IMD also gave up with a forecast that we are going to get good rainfalls in this year. So what happened, whenever this carrying capacity of this river which is mainly decreasing here, so that here there will be a chance of getting floods. So before this monsoon season, so we need to go for desilting of these rivers and as well as desilting of dams. So whenever we are going for this desilting of rivers, that will be having large amount of advantages. First one is that will increase the storage capacity of the river, and next one is the carrying capacity of river will be increased. And next one here is, so there will be less chance of getting floods. And also not only this, even that will be helpful for our environment. And even if there is any waterways that are present here, that will be also very much helpful for inland waterways. So these are some important advantages of this desilting. And now let us try to see the context. So context says that here we are mainly making some attempt to increase the storage capacity of river Krishna. Especially we are mainly focusing on increasing of storage capacity of this river Krishna, and we are mainly going for this removing of silt. And the target here is to remove 50 lakh tons of silt from this river bed. So how can we analyze the depth of the river? So here you can know about this bathymetric survey. So what is this bathymetric survey, and here how it is important from UPSC point of view. So if you are posted as a water management, if you are posted in this water management department secretary, or you have job in this area means, so you need to use this bathymetric survey to analyze, so what is the carrying capacity of that river and what is the impact of siltation, whether it is mainly decreasing the carrying capacity or not. So if there is any monsoon season or the rainy season which mainly comes, means you have to take some steps. So there you can use this bathymetric survey. So this bathymetric survey is mainly used to map the depth of the river floor. So even as an administrator, okay, for example, if you are an IS officer to so and so district, and in that so and so district, so this one river which is mainly flowing, and this river which is mainly having one important concern, like, so whenever there is rainfall, that will lead into the floods. So okay, that time as an administrator, you need to take some steps, that is preventive steps, to decrease the impact of the floods before itself. So at that time you might be using this bathymetric survey to analyze the carrying capacity of that river. So in this way this study is important. And even in your prelims you can get a question like, so bathymetric survey is seen recently in news, so what it is related to. Okay, so in this way you can get a question in your prelims also. So here if you are talking about this bathymetric survey, which is mainly focusing on studying and mapping of the depth of the river floor. Okay, they are mainly talking about study and mapping of the depth of river floor and shapes of underground water terrain. So actually this bathymetric survey, which mainly held in year 2019 December and January 2020, and they said that the carrying capacity or the storage capacity of this river Krishna at this Pakasham barrage is 2.982 TMC. So here if you are talking about, because of this siltation, that is sediments which are mainly settled down on this floor of the river, that led to decreasing of the storage capacity. It is about 0.089 TMC. So whenever we are going for this desilting work, which mainly expected to increase the water storage capacity as well. So if we're talking about importance, so here desilting is essential to improve storage capacity, and given the growing irrigation and drinking water needs. So here if you're talking about desilting, so it will be very helpful, especially to improve the storage capacity, and even it will be very much helpful for the irrigation purpose. So whenever there is an increasing of storage capacity, means what happens, we will be having large amount of water, and this large amount of water that can be used for irrigation purpose and even drinking water needs as well. So if we're talking about what is this desiltation, so desiltation is nothing but, what is the first silt? Silt, it is nothing but earthy material. It may include even fine sand, so which is mainly carried by the moving water or the moving river, and this will be deposited as a sediment, as I said you earlier. So here the basic reasons given for the necessity of this desilting are, so what are the basic reasons why we need to go for this desilting, especially for the storage capacity and checking out eutrophic conditions. So I will tell you one example that I can remember I used to see in my childhood days. So in holidays, in summer holidays or summer vacation, so when I used to go to my grandmother's house in a small village. So in that village, actually there were no proper drainages here. So they need to go for a small drains through which the drainage water will be going outside. So what happened, because of if there is any rainfall or if there is any wind which is mainly blowing, so it will be bringing some dust, and it will be mainly blocking this drains. So what happened, whenever there is a sediment which are mainly sediments that are mainly seen in this drains here, what happened, earlier the carrying capacity used to be like this, but because of sediments which are mainly settled here, the storage capacity and the carrying capacity will be decreased. So what happened earlier, if you are throwing one bucket of water, it will be easily it used to be go through that thing, okay, that drain. But what happened, because of sediments which are mainly settled at the bottom of that drain, so the carrying capacity which is mainly decreased. So because of this, what happened, if you are throwing even half bucket of water, so it cannot hold, so the water used to come outside. Okay, so here this is the one important thing. At that time my grandfather used to remove this sediments, or that is the thing that is mainly present in that drain, such that again what happened, there is a proper flow of water which is seen without leakaging outside. Okay, so in the same way in the rivers also, if you are going for this desiltation, that will increase the storage capacity. Okay, so the basic reasons which is mainly given for this necessity of desilting, that is why this desilting is necessary, because we can focus on increasing of storage capacity, and even we can check eutrophic conditions as well. So if you see this image, you can understand. So earlier in the normal conditions, so this is a floodplain and this is the course of the river, and what happened, because of the sediments which are mainly mainly deposited in this river course, what happened, that will lead to decreasing of storage capacity and the spilling of water, which is mainly seen here. And now let us try to see next topic is regarding GI tag sought for Cheticulum small onion. So this article which is mainly talking about small onion. So actually recently we studied about GI tag for this ant chutney as well, right? That is Kai chutney. And now again one more thing is in news, that is Cheticulum small onion. So you can get a question regarding this GI, that is geographical indication tag, even in your mains and as well as prelims. So now let us try to see this topic, and this topic is important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes in a GS paper 3. So if one important thing that you have to know is GI tag, it is not individual, right? It is as a whole community, right? So this is one important prelims fact that you have to know, and I said that. So now let us try to see context. So if you see context, it mainly says that Tamil Nadu State Agricultural Marketing Board and Cheticulum Small Onion Farmer Producer Association, okay, Perambular. So they mainly came up with applying for this GI tag for this Cheticulum or small onion. Okay, so they mainly submitted for this GI tag for this Cheticulum small onion. So in the image that you can see, these are very small. Normally they are called as sambar onions. So these type of onions, they are mainly used in sambars. So if you see details, it mainly says that every year 70,000 tons of this small onion, they are mainly produced in over 12,500 hectares of land area. So why they are going for this growing of the small onions? Because they have a specular clarity that here the soil which is present in that area, so they have high sulfur content, and this particular onion which has highest pungency taste when compared to that of other variants. So because of this, they mainly filed for this GI tag for this onion. So it has around 15 to 18 layers of dried outer scales, and the shelf life of this onion, it is like 8 to 9 months of shelf life. So if we talk about what is the importance of onions in this region, so recently Ministry of Food Processing Industry, they has been also working on this Mission Onion program. Okay, actually it is one concept they came up to double the farmer income by 2022. Actually it is a flagship initiative. So here we are mainly focusing on common food processing incubation sector at this Cheticulum village to redress the needs of small onion farmers. And okay, so this is a flagship initiative, and actually they are mainly established this common food processing incubation sector, okay, incubation center. So in this way they want to focus on the needs of the small onion farmers. Okay, so now let us try to see next topic. This topic is very interesting, and it is talking about what is the status of China's Belt and Road Initiative. So as you all know, what is this BRI, that is Chinese Belt and Road Initiative. So this is not the new thing in the news, but we are going to talk about what is the status of this BRI in the South Asian countries. For example, you can talk about Nepal, you can talk about in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So in all these countries, so what is the status? Okay, so now let us try to see this topic, and this topic is important from your international relations, which mainly comes in your GS paper too. So first of all, I want to show you this One Belt One Road initiative, that is BRI initiative. So it is mainly having two important routes, that is land route, and next one is maritime route. Okay, so this land route which is mainly connecting this China with this Central Asian countries, and finally it will reaching this East European countries and as well as European Union. So from this European Union, we also have this maritime Silk route. It is entering into this Mediterranean Sea, and here it is entering to this Red Sea, etc. And it is mainly entering into this Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean part, and even in Sri Lanka it is having port, and even in Bangladesh, and finally through the Strait of Malacca it mainly coming to this China. But here from China, here we are also having some projects in this Pakistan, that is Gwadar port as well. So whenever it is mainly developing this Gwadar port, it will be helpful for the China to bypass this Strait of Malacca. So if we are talking about context, it mainly says that, so recently, as you all know, this G7 summit which mainly held in Germany, which had been concluded. So in this G7 summit, here US, which mainly came up with one idea of $600 billion. Okay, they came up with this $600 billion plan especially for this PGII, that is Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Intelligence, and they mainly focus to build infrastructure projects in developing and as well as in middle income countries. Okay, so here actually this PGIA, that is Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Intelligence, which is mainly said that it is to counter this China's Belt and Road Initiative. So if we're talking about details regarding this BRI, that is Belt and Road Initiative, so this is the idea which mainly came up by China in 2013. And actually China visited this Kazakhstan, Indonesia, and they mainly came up with vision to build the Silk Road Economic Belt, that is SERB, in this 21st century maritime Silk Road, and they want to break the bottleneck in this Asian connectivity. Okay, so here in 2013, Chinese came up with this BRI whenever they visited this Kazakhstan and as well as Indonesia, and they mainly expressed a vision that they are going to build a Silk Road Economic Belt. So this initiative, which mainly envisioned a Chinese-led investment over 1 trillion in partner with the countries by 2025. And as of now, more than 60 countries, they have been joined this BRI agreements. Okay, and now they mainly came up with planning under construction in different continents like Asia, Europe, Latin America, etc. Okay, so I already showed you the map regarding this One Belt, One Road initiative, and now let us try to see further important topics. So here in recent years, BRI seems to have experienced a slowing down as annual Chinese leading to countries under the initiative, which mainly slimmed from the peak of $125 in 2015 to $50 or $55 billion in 2021. So what happened in the recent years, the pace of this BRI which had been slowed down, and even investments from this China which also had been contracted. So earlier it was like $125 billion in 2015, and now it is just around $50 to $55 billion in 2021. There is drastic decrease that is mainly seen. And in the recent years, multiple countries, they have renegotiated their loans with China, and here especially these countries, they are mainly facing economic crisis due to this pandemic. So if we're talking about progress of BRI in South Asia, we need to talk about Pakistan, we need to talk about Afghanistan, we need to talk about Nepal, we need to talk about Bangladesh. So here we are going to talk about all of these things. So we're talking about Pakistan. So on his 2015 visit to Pakistan, that is Xi Jinping visit to this Pakistan. So at that time here, Pakistan Prime Minister, he was Nawaz Sharif. He unveiled this BRI's flagship project. Okay, and here they came up with this CPC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So it starts in this Kashgar in China and mainly going to ends in this Gwadar port. So if you're talking about the CPC, which mainly involved multiple projects, so here it is not only the development of port city of this Gwadar, and even it is mainly talking about providing a port to this Rajasthan Xinjiang province. That will be very much helpful than other eastern ports in China. And if you're talking about some more important details, it mainly says that China, which mainly envisaged that Gwadar would provide with a position on Arabian Sea without having to go through the busy shipping lane of this Malacca Strait. So some other projects included, for example, the bulk of investment, transport, telecommunications. So these are some important areas between China and Pakistan. And even if you're talking about many reports which mainly says that whatever the shipping activities they came up in this Gwadar port, so they are almost negligible so far. And even some traders of Afghanistan and even Pakistan traders, they are not willing to route their freight through this Gwadar port. Okay, so this is about the status in Pakistan. And if you're talking about Sri Lanka, as you all know that China, which mainly came up with a number of projects in Sri Lanka, right? So Sri Lanka's multiple infrastructure projects that were being financed by China before the launch of this Belt and Road Initiative in 2013. And here many of them, they conceivably came under its fold. And if you see now, the costly Chinese projects that have become under focus. Okay, and if you're talking about here Sri Lanka, they came up with this 1.16 billion dollars for the Central Express project, and actually this project which mainly connects the Outer Circle Highway and as well as Colombo Cotoneke Express. So if we're talking about Hambantota port, so it is one important port which mainly developed by this China in Sri Lanka. And actually here whatever the debt which is mainly incurred by Sri Lanka because of this Hambantota port, so they said that they are not going to pay, okay, they are not going to repay the loan, so that they said that this Hambantota port is mainly given to lease for the Chinese stated company, and the lease it is for 99 years. And if you are talking about one more important country, that is Nepal. So here Nepal formally joined this BRI in year 2017, and it mainly came with submitting of 35 structural projects that need to be done. So here China said that no, we can't go for 35. You can come up with shortlisting of shortlisting of the projects, okay, which are very much helpful. So later on here Nepal, which mainly came with shortlisting of topics, and they came with 8 projects that need to be done under this BRI. And the 5 years later, after signing this framework agreement in China, so the work has not been started on any of these 9 projects. So if we're talking about next country, that is Afghanistan. So if talking about this Afghanistan, which has not comprehensively been brought into BRI. So especially once this Taliban regime, okay, so once this USA which mainly withdraw from this Afghanistan, China which is mainly waiting for a chance to invest in this Afghanistan. And next one is Maldives. So we're talking about Maldives, it is one of the island nation which is mainly located in the middle of Indian Ocean, right? So Maldives which mainly comprises of 200 islands, and even both India and as well as China, they are having strategical importance of this Maldives. Okay, so if you're talking about Maldives, so here Chinese came up with especially some important BRI projects like Sinamali Bridge. Okay, it's also called as China Maldives Friendship Bridge of about $200 million for the 4-lane bridge. Okay, and next one here, this is the bridge here, so it is a 4-lane bridge, and this Maldives current regime, that is the president of this Maldives at present here is Ibrahim Soleh. So he tried to mainly maintain some distance from this China regarding this BRI, and they started focusing more on this India's first policy. Actually, India it is also providing some assistance to this Maldives under this neighborhood first policy, and India came up with funding of especially the Mali connectivity projects, and India which is mainly provided about $100 million grant and $400 million as a loan. So we're talking about the last country, we are going to talk about Bangladesh. So Bangladesh which mainly joined this BRI in 2016, and later on they came up with a promise that it is one of the second highest belt and road investment by China. So in Bangladesh here mainly joined this BRI in 2016, and here in this meet between Bangladesh and China, so they mainly promised that they are going to have the second highest belt and road investment. So here the multiple studies says that even the Council of Foreign Relations, they mainly shows that Bangladesh which has been able to benefit for the BRI, so while maintaining the diplomatic and strategic ties with the India and as well as China. So here Bangladesh which mainly played a very important game here, that is even though here there is influence of this China which is mainly seen, so it tried to maintain the diplomatic and as well as strategic ties even with India as well. So here if you're talking about this BRI projects in this China Bangladesh friendship bridges, so special economic zones, and even here Karnapuli River Tunnel project, and we can go for upgradation of this Chittagong port, okay, and even railway line between the port and as well as Chinese Yunnan province. So these projects have been delayed. So these are some important projects in this Sri Lanka. So this is about this topic, and I hope it is clear. Now let us try to see next topic. Title says Center to Soften Punitive Steps in Environment Cases. So this article which is mainly talking about EPA, Environment Protection Act. So this topic is important from your Environment and Ecology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that here Union Environment Ministry, it mainly proposed some important steps, and these steps are focusing on softening of these provisions of Environment Protection Act, and it is mainly replacing the clause that mainly provides imprisoning the violators. So regarding this imprisoning of violators, it mainly removed and it mainly replaced with the fines, and the fines are very much hefty. And there are some exceptions you have to remember. So here if you're talking about details, it mainly says that, so here what happens, so there will be does not applies to violations, and if you're talking about some exceptions here, it does not especially apply to the violations here. So which violations, especially if the violations which are mainly causing the injury or the loss of life, so this is not going to applicable. So the proposed fines, okay, instead of this imprisonment, it will be like 5 to 500 times greater than those currently levied. So this act currently says that violators will be punished with imprisonment up to 5 years and up to 1 lakh of imprisonment or both. And whenever the violations which mainly continues, so there will be the additional fine of 5,000 rupees daily during such a failure or contravention continues after the conviction would be levied. So here Environment Ministry, it mainly said that, so we are mainly going for decriminalizing existing provisions of Environment Protection Act. And if you are talking about this EPA, Environment Protection Act, so which mainly enacted in the year 1986, and the important objective it is to provide protection and improvement of our environment, and they are also mainly focusing on preventing of environment pollution as well. So if we are talking about constitutional provisions regarding the environment, so first important thing is here you need to talk about Article 253 of Indian Constitution. So it mainly talks about we need to go for enactment of legislation for giving effect to international agreements. And 48A, which mainly comes under DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, which mainly says that states shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and also to safeguard forest and as well as wildlife. And 51A, which mainly talks about citizens shall protect the environment. So these are some important constitutional provisions that you have to remember. And now let us try to say next topic. It is one of the interesting topic. I can say it is about handcuffing. So handcuffing means I think if you have watched movies, so especially the people who are accused and convicted, or even who are in under trials, so they will be taken to the court by handcuffing, right? So this article is mainly talking about that handcuffing. So handcuffing, a judicial tap and a long arm of the law. So this article is important from your GS paper 2 under polity point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So Supreme Court, which mainly gave some directives on handcuffing. So because of this is in news. So recently here Karnataka High Court, which mainly passed a verdict, and the name of that case is Supreet Ishwar Divate versus the state of Karnataka. So in this case here Karnataka High Court mainly awarded 2 lakh rupees of compensation for handcuffing an accused without recording the reasons in the police case diary. So if you want to go for handcuffing, yes, you have to follow 3 important steps. So one of the step here is we need to record the reason. So this reason which had not been recorded in the police case diary, and that person, he was handcuffed. So because of this here, it is mainly violating Article 21 of Indian Constitution. So because of this, Karnataka High Court, which mainly passed a verdict on this handcuffing. Okay, and it means that 2 lakh rupees should be given as compensation. So we're talking about what are the principles that need to be followed for this handcuffing. So here High Court, which mainly held that an accused in normal circumstances need not be handcuffed on arrest. So it is only the exceptional circumstances whenever there might be escape, or whenever there is a possibility of causing harm to himself or causing harm to others. So in that case only we can go for handcuffing. So further, when there is such handcuffing, the arresting officer must record the reasons. So second one is they have to record the reasons. And next one here is, so there can be 3 occasions where persons can be handcuffed. For example, if an accused or arrested and before he is produced in the magistrate. So accused on his arrest, on before of his arrest, so he need to be, whenever he need to produce in this courts, they can go for handcuffing. And next one is under trial prisoners during the transfer from the jail to other courts and back, they can be also handcuffed. And next one here is a convict which is being transported from jail to the court or back. So in these areas we can go for especially handcuffing of the accused. And if you're talking about some important details, so the law which is mainly talking about is handcuffing, which mainly settled in year 1980. So at that time, the famous Supreme Court judgment here is Prem Shankar Shukla versus Delhi administration. So in this case here, Supreme Court which mainly validates incapacitation of these irons, an extreme measure, so it is very much required. And if you're talking about compensation, here now Karnataka High Court which mainly mandated in case of this handcuffing, the reasons which is mainly said that here handcuffing which is mainly given without writing on the records, without recorded in writing. And if you're talking about Supreme Court which mainly passes similar directives in another case with regard to this under trial personals. Okay, so in this way it is very much imperative for of whether that persons to be handcuffed, it is an accused or an under trial persons or convict, or principles of governing remain the same. So here, irrespective of whether that so and so person who is like accused person or who is under trials, here handcuff should not be given. So the next point is who should pay this compensation. So it is established that a principle that relief of monetary compensation, because if you are going for handcuff without practicing or without following the principles, that will lead to violation of Article 21 of Indian Constitution. And this Article 21 which mainly guarantees the fundamental right. And even one more case here is State of Maharashtra versus Ravi Kant Patil 1991. So they mainly said that there are some allegations of handcuffing and parading on of an under trial prisoner of a murder on the streets. So that time here Bombay High Court which mainly held its inspector to pay some amount as compensation, okay, because it led to violation of Article 21 of Indian Constitution. And if we are talking about what are the possible solutions, yes, here the state, it is very much responsible for the equipping of all the police stations, and here state responsibility is to maintain adequate number of personals, and we need to have proper infrastructure as well. Okay, and the next one here is, even if you are talking about the data which is given by this NCRB, National Crimes Record Bureau, so it mainly says that Crimes in India 2020 which mainly says 810 cases of prisoner escape from police custody, and against 931 they were reported in the year 2020, and not less than 117 cases they were registered. Okay, and this is about this cases and this data. So by this data we can understand, yes, we can go for this handcuffing, especially to decrease the crimes. And next one here is, it would be appropriate for the state governments, and these state governments, they can go for review of their mobility of the police, and they need to focus on the requirement of this additional manpower and technical gadgets, okay, etc. So this is the way forward. And now let us try to say next topic, it is regarding control of tuberculosis, that is TB in short. So as you all know, recently we came up with this revised national TB control program. So here this article which is mainly talking about what are the flaws which are present in that revised national TB control program. So this topic is important from your science and technology. Actually this TB is mainly caused by bacteria, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So actually you know that TB is one of the worst among the endemic diseases, and it mainly killing about 1.5 million people every year across the world. So it is according to this WHO report. And TB which mainly affects adults in their most productive areas, and therefore it impoverishes this family and as well as nation. So what happens, so whenever there is a death which is happening because of this TB, so that family, if at all father of that family or the head of that family who mainly got this TB and died because of this TB, means what happened, that will lead to the some negative consequences of that family and even as a nation, right? So in India, India it is mainly called as TB capital of the world, and the disease which mainly kills some like 1400 persons per every day, and there are gross estimates for our health management system, and which has no method to count the exact members. And next one here is, so if in this 1990s and as in this 1950s and 1960s here, so we have mainly came with some important steps in research, especially this epidemiology, transmission as well as dormitory treatment for this TB. So later on we came up with this National TB Control Program of 1962, and actually it is mainly focusing on public-private partnership. So if you're talking about upscaling the model which mainly proved unsuccessful, and program which mainly failed to control this TB. Okay, so at that time, so whatever the program that we came up, that is National TB Control Program, so it has been not much successful. So here we came up with this revised National TB Control Program. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this National TB control program, that is revised TB Control Program. So actually this program, it is a state-run TB control initiative. Okay, and here it is mainly focusing on directly these dots, that is directly absorbed treatment short courses. So here this revised thing which mainly contains 5 important things. So first here is we are mainly focusing on political and administrative commitment. So since TB can be cured and as well as the epidemic which is reversed, so it mainly warrants the topmost priority. Okay, and next one is we are mainly focusing on good quality diagnosis as well. For example, we are mainly focusing on this microscopy to mainly see this tuberculosis causing bacteria, and we can go for diagnosis clearly. And next one is good quality drugs. So an uninterrupted supply of good quality this anti-TB drugs must be available. And here this revised National TB Control Program which mainly provides a box of medication, okay, that will be helpful for the treatment of every person who is registered, and they are also focusing on ensuring the right treatment. Okay, they are mainly focusing on best anti-TB medications. And this one is systemic monitoring and as well as accountability. So it is also very important. And if you're talking about flaws, so this article which mainly talked about 3 important flaws, and they compared with the national HIV program as well. So first important flaw that mainly said in this article here is, so this program which means mainly heavily funded by the government, but in this program there is no prescribed method of monitoring of trajectory of this TB. And second important flaw here is they are mainly focusing on treating of this pulmonary TB itself. They are not focusing on latent TB. Okay, and the next important failure here is, so it is mainly failed to elicit the people's partnership in this TB control. So without proper social awareness and with the stigma, how these people they will be coming and actively participating. So we need to focus on informed participation of the people or community as well. And this is about this topic. Now let us try to see yesterday's questions and answer for this yesterday's questions and as well as today's questions. So first one is regarding Gupta administration. So first statement here is highest unit of this territorial division of the country was called as Bhukti. So justice was based on Varna classification. Yes, so these 2 statements are correct. So answer is 3. And next question is regarding megalithic burials. So dead were buried with the distinctive parts called as black and red ware, and the burials they were sometimes yielded tools and weapons of iron. Yes, and this one here is skeleton of horses, horse equipment they are also found. Yes, all these 3 are correct. So that option is 4, all the above. And today's questions, the first one is regarding Mulai of Sangam, and next one here is Megasthenes. So try to read these 2 questions and give me the correct answer in the comment box. And don't forget about your homework. So actually I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod as we came up with this mains answer writing course. So please don't underestimate the importance of this mains answer writing. So if you are having a good mains answer writing skills, then no one will be going to stop to enter your name in the final list. So here you have to focus on practice. So practice makes the man's perfect, right? So here you have to practice writing answers so that you can improve the skill, okay, and you will be getting one idea like how you have to start answer, what to be written in body and as well as what to written in conclusion, and how to improve your presentation to get extra 1 or 2 marks. So here this is some important thing that we are focusing in this mains answer writing course. So this is a 1-year course, and this course cost is just 7,200 rupees for 1 year. And this course, which mainly started from this 3rd July, and the admissions are going on. You can register till this 10th of this July. And apart from that, we also launched this foundation course for UPSC CSE 2023-2024, and here we are mainly focusing on this conceptual clarity. So there are about more than 600 hours of lecture classes, such that you can get the conception on each and every topic for sure. So if you want to take individual courses, you can also take individual courses like ethics, geography, history, economy, like that. You can take those individual courses also. So if you want to watch the demo videos, you can visit our website rathodsiacademy.com. There you have to register with your email ID, and later on, okay, you can click on the play course, such that you can see 3 videos without paying a single penny. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our Hindu newspaper PDF, and the date is July 6th, and this is Delhi edition. So the first article, it is about environment cases. I discussed this topic, and there is nothing much which is mainly seen in this today's Hindu newspaper. And you can directly move on to this editorial page. So this editorial page, there is one article regarding Indian aviation needs a strong and steady tailwind. So this article is mainly talking about what are the causes of failure in this aviation sector, and you have to focus on what are the reasons for this failure. Okay, and next one here, it is about judicial tap. So I discussed about this handcuffs, and regarding this aviation sector, yes, we have a large amount of potential, but we are mainly facing some important challenges. So here we need to focus on what is this Eruka movement, and you have to know about some important challenges, and you have to know about what is the Startup India initiative and what is its role here, and you have to know about one more scheme which is regarding this aviation sector, that is Udan scheme also. And if you move forward here, you can see one article that is regarding environment. It is mainly talking about rupee down. And here in this op-ed page, you can see one article that is regarding tuberculosis. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward in this text and context, you can see article, it is regarding FPIs, that is foreign portfolio investment. So here what happened here, FPIs, they have been selling their shares in India, and they are mainly going outside, that is, we can see flight of money that is mainly seen. So because of this flight of money, we can see there is increasing of demand for the dollars, and there is decreasing the demand for the rupees. That is a very important reason that led to decreasing of value of rupee against dollar. And regarding this road belt and road initiative, I discussed this topic. And if you move forward in this news page, there is nothing much important, and here you can see Prime Minister's minority move aimed at exploring the new social equation. So this topic is also important. And here center asks states to boost paddy sowing. Next one here is more time to respond to central's policy and disabled. This article is also very important. And next one here is Navy eyes government route to buy carrier based jets. And here next topic is about here Sweden and Finland signed this protocol to join this NATO. And next important topic in this economy session here is PMI, that is Purchasing Managers Index, which mainly pegs services growth at 11-year high. And rupee falls to 79.33 rupees after June trade deficit widens. So these are some important topics that appear in today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And you can join the Telegram channel for the PDF. You can get the PDF and some important current affairs updates in the Telegram channel, and you can join the Telegram channel, and the link is given in the description box. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.